Hello, I am Isaac Post, and the year is 1852. To the reader, in offering this work to the public, feelings of diffidence and modesty fill my mind. To me, the subject of man's present and future condition is of vast importance. I have found my pen moved by some power beyond my own, either physical or mental, and believe it to be by the spirits of those who have previously inhabited bodies and have passed from sight. Therefore, I feel it best to allow those who desire to read the words of many individuals as they have written with my hand, the privilege of doing so. I do not consider it my business to make comments upon what is contained in this little work, but it may be well to allude to one part of it. One evening, while attending a meeting, a friend read a sentiment purporting to be signed by 62 spirits whose names were read. My hand was moved to write that each of those spirits would gladly give me a short communication, to which I assented and found them each waiting his or her time in regular order. As my object is only to give the facts, I leave this book to stand upon its own merits, believing it will be interesting to many to read some communications obtained in my presence. I take the liberty to share a few of them now. First, an introduction from Benjamin Franklin. It is our object to spread light in the pathway of those who have been blinded by their education, traditions, and sectarianism. We have come not to blame any. We present these truths that man, the noblest of all created existence, may realize what he is and what he is to be. To tell him by what he is surrounded, who are his companions, and that the opportunity is afforded to become familiar while in the body with his spirit friends. And when these truths are fully experienced, death will have no terrors. The grave will seem inviting. As it becomes known, the real man enters it not, but being freed from its hindering clogs, finds that enjoyment that he knows not fully of. I leave the readers to calmly digest in their quiet moments what is here offered. A message from Elias Hicks, an early advocate of the abolition of slavery and a liberal Quaker preacher. I will now give thee some account of the condition of society in my present abode, a house not made with hands. Those of one affinity draw together, as naturally as birds of the same species associate together. Hence, the lover of peace has no affinity with the lover of war and military glory, and they cannot be happy together. He that has done what he could to make his fellow man happy by acts of kindness cannot enjoy the society of him who has been engaged in spreading discord. He that has enslaved his fellow man will not harmonize here with the enslaved and the downtrodden. He that puts the bottle to his neighbor's mouth and causes him to do wickedly cannot be happy with him who loves to live orderly and godly. Thus, thee may see that all find their level, but here, there is no impassable barrier between us. A communication from Andrew Jackson, former President of the United States. When I landed in eternity, I found much of my time had been wasted. Yea, more than wasted. As soon as I perceived where I had done wrong and how to advance from it, I set about it and have advanced from my degradation son. I was wrong in almost everything. The cultivation of love of man universal, I had neglected. Instead of encouraging peace and goodwill among men, I encouraged war and bloodshed. Hence, mine was an awful state of mind. But I am progressing, thank God. Now a communication from Elizabeth Twining, a philanthropist, painter, and writer. When at times my mind was called to take a more enlarged view of my brethren and sisters, I felt my love extended to invite them to come with me and taste of the Lord my God. All things tend to progress in the spirit world. The most depraved, after a time, tire of their condition and slowly advance from it. But they that have faithfully endeavored to act up to their highest convictions of right never repent, but rejoice evermore. A communication from Mrs. Benjamin Franklin. I was introduced to the company of congenial spirits who had been waiting to receive me as soon as I was released, and who had been attending upon me while embodied, although I knew it not. These I accompanied to their home. I found in my new home all I could desire, yea, far more than I could have fancied possible. Time would fail me to give the particulars now, and beside, it would hardly be possible for one still confined to the body to appreciate our necessities and our gratifications. I delight to thus give of the knowledge I possess, and if agreeable, will visit you again. I will now leave, full of joy and hope, renewed, your friend and the friend of spirit investigators everywhere. A communication from Thomas Jefferson, another former president of the United States. Let me say to you, Isaac, yours is a position never occupied by man before. It seems almost like being again in Congress, where one speaker after another is recorded by one that says not a word. You sit here and allow dead men, as they are considered, to control your hand. Was there anything like it since man was first created? I believe not. My preface is so long that I must make my sentiment short. Honesty is the best policy, both to live on earth by and to enter the spirit state with. A communication from George Fox, a leader in the 17th century Christian awakening from which came the Quaker movement. I find the earth to occupy but a small space compared to the whole, and yet I have not been introduced to any part of the universe so interesting as the earth is. Man, when he enters the spirit life, passes like electricity from place to place. Yet I have not found an intelligence similar to man's, except what originated on earth. But remember, we are learners as well as you, and all that is necessary is for each to be and to continue in our proper place, which must ensure peace always. A communication from John C. Calhoun, a prominent statesman and spokesman for the slave plantation system. Let us take a look a little at the vast expenditure this war spirit engenders. Taxes must be raised to prepare for wars and be ready to revenge any insult that may be offered the nation. Men in vast numbers must be kept ready, learning the most refined and expeditious plans to destroy men, producing nothing to sustain life itself. Thus, a very large share of the labors of men are wasted. The spirit of war has a tendency to make the rich more wealthy and the poor more wretched. Although taxes seem to be largely paid by the wealthy, yet it is the labors of the poor and the oppressed that in reality pay for it without them knowing it. What misery the spirit of war imposes upon almost all the nations of the earth. Were it not for the spirit of war, plans might be carried out to benefit man, that each would lack nothing. Children would be instructed in such a way that they might be prepared for usefulness to themselves and to others. I thank you for this favor, Isaac, and encourage you to thus kindly favoring your spirit friends to give them their experience and knowledge. A communication from Sarah Sharp. I would like to say to my dear earthly friends, Isaac, that I am as really myself as when I was bodily with them. I would do them much good if they were prepared to receive me. I thank you for your kindness to one you never knew or heard of, except in connection with crime. Oh, it is cause for gratitude that while many great and good are waiting to communicate through you, you allow one so unworthy as myself to give you my present and previous conditions. A communication from Benjamin Franklin, one of my best correspondents. Let me call your attention to one that was filled with sectarianism, who verily believed that all good must come through his sect, no matter whether he was a Christian, Mohammedan, Brahmin, or any other great division of the human family. It depends upon his willingness to learn, or rather unlearn, what he so ignorantly cherished. I do not say these things to blame any, for I feel no enmity to any. I only wish to give such information as will advance the embodied. But the effect on me is the same as with you. When you perform an unselfish duty, you feel a sensation of joy. So here too. When I perform my missions with fidelity, I feel I'm advancing. This is a mighty work, a work not of a day nor of a year, but of a lifetime. By properly using the littles, an opportunity is offered. Much may be realized. I will now leave with thanks for this opportunity. And finally, a communication from Lydia Smith, a prominent African-American businesswoman. My desire and earnest endeavor of all elevated spirits is to lead men to the knowledge of the realities with which they are surrounded. Oh, it seems to me if I had known these things, I should have been more happy myself and should have been enabled to have scattered blessings without number around me. It seems to me when these things are fully realized, man will feel no disposition to oppress his fellow. He will feel no disposition to assume any great things for himself, but he will act for the good of all. Love will fill his soul, peace will dwell in his bosom, and kindness will flow to all. He will not need armies of men to defend him, for his confidence in his God will be such that come life or come death, all will be well. His safety is sealed continually when he goes on his way rejoicing, dispensing blessings on all. I remain thy assured friend, Isaac, and the friend of advancement for all of humankind.